Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing. Yes, we are back live from the studios of Channel 31 with a brand new series. You're stuck with us right through until the end of December, and beyond that, well, Channel 31 is in the hands of Malcolm Turnbull once again, with no future beyond December. Who knows what is going to happen? Coming up tonight, we've actually scraped together 6 Catch of the Week photos, but unfortunately all pics are of people now in hospital recovering from hypothermia. Only joking, boys. There's a stack of fisheries news. I'll show a little bit about a real factory I stumbled across in Canada recently, and product of the week, it's all about the squid. All that and plenty more. So let's get into it with a big welcome to the man who travels by kayak, Adam Ring. Welcome, Ads.
Thanks, Dave. I can't believe we're back. Just when I thought my TV career had come to a screeching halt, I'd hung the shirt up, put the iron away, didn't worry about it, and then got the phone call a couple of weeks ago.
Unbelievable that we're back, because C31 was all over, but it's back on. It's also a big welcome to the man all the way from Shepparton, Stephen Victor Trelfall. Welcome, Trelly.
Thanks, Dave. Very good to be back, actually. And like Ad said, a bit of a surprise, but here we go again.
Now, Trelly, in the off-season, I just got to tell the folks at home what's happened. Broke some ribs, punctured your lung, broke your back, both your legs, you've still got a broken hand right now. Did you enjoy the 3 months off?
Yeah, it was great. Actually, it's one of the things I actually look forward to all year. not quite the break. Some of those things didn't actually happen, but we had
most of them did.
A bit of a stint in hospital and things like that. But you got to get out there. You don't want to die wondering, do you, that you could play Superman across a mountain range?
I'd rather not dying.
Not at all. Ads, highlight of the off-season.
Dropping
the kids before school.
And the highlight of the season, the off-season, was finding out we're coming back.
Yeah.
Because I tried to evaluate, what I'd bring to the table this season, but it made me reflect on all the things I missed. And I missed the feed at the little restaurant, which we had to retrain the staff, but that's okay.
Tonight,
I missed terrorising Kev with my late product of the week every week, so I'm back in fine form, and you'll be pleased to know product of the week was submitted about 2 hours ago. So Kev, welcome back, mate.
Yeah, all good. And the weather, isn't it been shocking? I mean, last Thursday, the coldest day in 19 years.
Yeah.
It's just been very, very tough for fishing. But I tell you what, we've seriously scraped together 6 photos, and it's a bit of a miracle, I guess, but very, very tough.
I suppose up until the last couple of weeks, the winter hasn't been too bad. It's been cold, but we haven't had the wind or the rain. But I tell you what, it made up for it in the last couple of weeks for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it's wet, it's actually warm.
Yeah.
When it's dry, it's like bitter cold.
Freezing.
I don't think the northerly winds have stopped for about 3 weeks, but anyway, I think there's a little break maybe next Monday and some beautiful weather coming our way. But anyway, folks, let's have a look at what's been caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
Now, there's always someone out catching a winter snapper, boys, isn't there?
That's
someone that braves the cold. Number one that has hypothermia in hospital right now is Pat Ellaby. Well done, Pat. A lovely 5.6 kilo snapper from Eagle Rock in Western Port. And there's some fish around if you look for them.
New fish or old fish?
Oh, old, I reckon.
5.6.
Yeah,
is it resident fish or new season fish?
Yeah, no.
Resident.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Resident. Yeah. We might check his adults.
It's damn cold.
Yeah, it is cold.
Yeah.
Talking about oddlies, next week, there was a young girl who caught from memory 26 kilo mulloway last October. It's now been aged. We're going to actually have that on the show next week. So let's have a look at the next Catch of the Week. And people are fishing far and wide. This one's from the Mitchell River down in the Gippsland Lake system. Sean Camilleri with a lovely 44 centimetre, 1.42 kilo brim. Is it not brim season or what?
Short sleeves.
Yeah, he's brave in the cold.
Come on, Sean.
Put on a brave face.
Fess up.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's brim, particularly those Gippy Lake systems.
Now's the time,
any of the rivers, particularly I'm hearing from Lake Tyre, some beautiful bream all schooled up. And
Remember that time of year, we can get the cricket score catches, get the vibes and the plastics out, fish deep.
Yeah. The next one, there's another place that is on fire, like it was probably 5 or 6 years ago now. Darren Smith headed down to Lake Bolac and landed some beautiful big rainbow trout down through the Western Districts. Trelly, and you'd probably be hearing a lot about that down at Geelong at the moment. But some cracker fish. I think we've got another slide of the fish lying on the ground. I mean, they're cracker fish, aren't they?
It looks like the body's actually outgrown the head.
Well, there's that much food.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
just eat and eat and eat.
Yeah. And you can see he's actually
A bit like you on the Gold Coast last week. Oh no, you drank.
There's my belly.
It's all good. Another little trout fishery that people sort of tend to associate bass at this lake, but Blue Rock Lake, a magnificent place. And Dave Johnson, he's the president of the Thorpedale and District Angling Club Centres in this photo. Only last week, Dave got a lovely little brown trout. He was actually just mucking around with some soft plastics, just testing them, how they swim and all that. Next minute, trout come up from the timber and went bang.
Unreal. What a beautiful look. That's immaculate condition.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Trelly, we're going to talk about cod a bit tonight, and you need to tell us about how good the winter cod fishery is. But Ben Trevina, he got out from Echuca after work the other afternoon, I think it was last Friday, and headed out in the boat, Murray River, in Echuca, 72 centimetre Murray cod. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a nice country around Echuca for catching for Murray cod. Yeah. It's a nice spot.
Yeah. What's the carp virus? We should talk about that in coming weeks, because is that getting closer?
I think it is getting closer. I think their research and their timing's got to be pretty right. So we'll probably see some news come out in that, and the minister's got to be.
If you were to say roughly, when are they going to release the first bout of herpes? When would it be?
Herpes.
Been releasing that for years, haven't you, Charlie?
Yeah.
Only in Echuca.
Yeah, look, I think it's probably...
Is it a year away, 2 years away?
I think it's within the next 2 years.
Yeah, okay.
I think they're studying the conditions.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you've got less water, as in a drought condition, you've got a captive audience as opposed to a flooded situation. So I would
need a lot more spreading of herpes.
Yeah,
a lot more water.
That's right. So we need to check the lips of everybody in carp as well.
There you go. Yeah. Another place that's on fire this time of year, and I know it's damn cold up there because there's just that much snow. In fact, this morning, not only did old mate get the sack from the Gold Coast Suns, but there was an avalanche warning. I mean, 2 big news items this week. I feel like we should talk about footy because it's so exciting. I mean, Richmond aren't even going to come 9th.
Yeah,
what is going on?
Yeah,
but an avalanche warning at Mount Buller, and Lake Eildon is on fire for big cod. And have a look at this. Christopher Mitchell got an 85 centimetre Murray cod at Lake Eildon the other day. And that's a cracker of a fish.
Yeah.
And all the boys are at work, and you're talking about it before the show, Charlie. Now's the time for big winter Murray cod.
Exactly, yeah. And remembering that the cod season closes in 3 weeks, but Eildon stays open all year round now.
There you go.
So it's a great fishery.
Last year was the first year for that?
Last year was the first year, along with Copeton in New South Wales.
Yeah.
And as far as tourism figures go, with those 2 areas, it's been a real incline as far as numbers and visitations.
Yeah, there you go. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
And Ads, can I just shake your hand? Congratulations, mate.
What did I do?
I brought a couple of awards in today. It was the Australian Fishing Trade Association's big trade show and gala night last week.
Yep.
And Tackle World Mornington, best medium-sized store.
400 jockeys?
Best medium-sized store in Australia, not just Victoria, in Australia. So there you go.
So
well done on that, mate.
Now, Dave, I'd like to shake your hand.
Yeah, okay.
Because just after we accepted that award, Tackle World Cranbourne won best overall
store in Australia.
tackle store in Australia. So
we got the Quinella.
lock it in.
The double.
Can I mention that you had conjunctivitis and crook as a dog, and you didn't want to get on the stage to accept your award?
I was not representing our store looking like that. So
notice that.
there we go.
Yeah, lucky Trelly didn't win because he would have staggered up.
I was on the board, so we were exempt. Trolley stores were exempt from
But anyway, no, well done. Both stores taking out best
Absolutely.
tackle stores in Australia. It was pretty good. So, and plenty of information coming up about some other winners tonight on the show. But anyway, next on Talking Fishing, Fisheries News. We'll find out if spotters are the best sunglasses in Australia. And I'll show you a little workshop I found in Canada that's been making reels since 1925, right after this.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wet a line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
And plenty of news, as I said, plenty because we've been away for 3 months. So
Heaps of stuff.
try and get through it. Media release from the new Victorian Fisheries Authority. No more Fisheries Victoria. It's now the Victorian Fisheries Authority. I'm going to call it VFA, just like back in the old football days, Charlie. You remember that? First headline is high levels of compliance among tuna fishers in southwest Victoria. The Victorian Fisheries Authority is delighted a comprehensive compliance operation during this year's southern bluefin tuna season revealed a high level of compliance among recreational fishers. During the season, Operation Endeavour targeted the recreational harvest of southern bluefin tuna along the western Victorian coast with a focus on Portland and Port Fairy. Good to see. They reckon that everyone is going quite well.
Doing the right thing.
They deployed 16 fisheries officers from across the state during the operation, along with 2 fisheries patrol vessels, aerial surveillance and covert monitoring.
Oh, that sounds
Better
high-tech.
watch the covert
Dressed as
monitoring.
old ladies.
Yeah. We conducted inspections at boat ramps and on the high seas with 89 fishers checked on the water and more than 250 back in port, including 19 inspections of charter vessels. So not letting anyone go untouched. It
No
sounds,
exclusions?
no. Happily, we only detected a small number of offences with failing to retain SBT and carcass form and fishing without a recreational fishing licence, the main ones found. So pretty good all round. This is a very good news because SBTs are a priority species in Victoria and afforded extra levels of protection given their status in the wild. It also demonstrates that tuna fishers are fishing responsibly.
So that's southern bluefin
Tuna, SBTs.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's always good news, bad news, isn't it? Always, never
Really
changes.
bad news.
Who's been taken what?
Yeah.
The next headline is alleged fish fraudsters are netted in Gippsland. How's this? So Fisheries Victoria officers, with the help of Victoria Police, and this was going back about 3 weeks ago, yesterday executed search warrants on 2 residents, one in Nowa and the other in Lakes Entrance. The searches ended a 5-month investigation. These blokes have been covert operated on.
Checking them out.
It will be alleged the 2 men conspired to use mesh nets covertly in local East Gippsland estuarine waters and then posed as licensed commercial operators to consign the fish for sale. People really doing this?
Wow.
They must be,
I
obviously.
think they realise they're covert.
Yeah, I was going to say covert, word of the month.
Covert. Other charges will relate to the unauthorised taking of fish for sale, the unlicensed possession and use of commercial fishing equipment, use of commercial fishing equipment to take more fish than the catch limit, and selling fish taken illegally. These charges carry maximum penalties of up to $31,092.
Yeah, they're done.
Yeah. Or 6 months jail. I reckon they're gone.
Take
Anyway,
the jail. Take
the
jail.
officers also seized 2 vehicles, a small boat, a box trailer, a large quantity of mesh nets, fish bins, a quality of finfish, and documents.
Ooh. There's the
They're
kicker.
gone.
There's the kicker.
And you
Yeah.
get the opportunity to spend a jail term with a big guy called Bubba.
Yeah. Try and
It went on to
Try and get
say
over that covert,
this type of offending impacts on the availability of fish for legitimate commercial and recreational fisheries. So there you go. It's unbelievable.
Not worth it.
Trelly, the next one, there's a bit of a report out, Murray Cod Fishery, the scientific angling surveys, bit of a report out. And I
Yep.
think, so basically, there was a bit of a, not a challenge, but a bit of a scientific thing where anglers, and you were one of them,
Yep.
went out and you caught a heap of Murray cod.
Yes,
And then the following week, Fisheries went and electrofished that.
exactly.
Tell us about it.
So we were allowed to fish a certain part of a river. It was about 10 teams. We did Loddon, the Goulburn and the Ovens. 3 or 4 years in a row. And we're actually fishing the same stretch of river that the teams might change in different spots. But if you caught a fish, it was like a satellite view of let's say that mug there is the structure.
Yep.
So you'd mark it on your map, and then the electrofishers would come through the next week, and they would actually go over the same area, and they would electrofish the same area. And what we were finding was,
well, we've got the graphs to show what happened.
yeah, so which is great. I mean, maricod length, frequency, distribution. So this might see that the lighter to the darker. The lighter would be the
That's the electrofishing.
electrofishing.
So what it actually said is that when you guys were fishing, you were hardly catching anything compared to what was actually in the water.
Exactly. Now, what that does is that gives a ratio, and you can break that down into fish per hours, catch rate, and the actual amount of fish that's actually in the river at those given points. They didn't do everywhere, but they've given those 500 yard strips to what we fished. Little bit of a inconsistency sometimes with environmental flows and things like that, but look, the results are there. It's really good to see, and you can get those results.
Says to me, if you want to catch a lot of cod, you better go electrofishing.
I was going to say,
right.
so the best colour on the market's electricity.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
yep. Let's keep flying through. Have a look at this guy because it was just an absolute honour. I was lucky enough to present the Industry Contribution Award for 2017
Yes.
on the Gold Coast last week. And Trella, you and I were the recipients of that award last year, but
Exactly.
I got up and I was able to present it to Travis Dowling, who is the CEO of the new Victorian Fisheries Authority, for his contribution to fishing in Australia. And it was just a very, very good thing for Travis to be recognised for that, because he's actually delivering the current Victorian government's policy in an exceptional manner. So that is all good. Talondo, we've always had Talondo on this show, and how good is this? Great news for Talondo is the headline. Starting today, which was the other day, 1st of August, the lake will receive 5 megs of water from Rocklands Reservoir. The water will secure the trophy trout and redfin fishery, which is one of the state's most iconic. It will add about 50 centimetres to the lake's water level and flood new ground in time for the productivity boom in springtime. Getting more people fishing more often is at the heart of Target 1 Million plan, and more water in Talondo will do just that, and people are starting to talk about Talondo. It's going to fire. Talondo's 2017 stocking plan includes 7,000 brown trout yearlings and 3,000 rainbow trout, and more trout likely after this fantastic news. The top-up is also in line with the state government's Water for Victoria plan, which recognises the importance of water for recreational purposes, including fishing. So great news for Talondo. And let's have a look at this little clip about who won best sunglasses at the big awards last week.
They're cool. The winner, though, best sunglasses, is Spotter's Shades. Racist! Come on up! I can tell you guys are here. There you are. Come on up here.
And you'll wonder why we wear them and rave about
that's
them.
right.
It's, I think that's 3 out of the last 4 years that they've won best sunglasses in Australia. So well done to the team at Spotters. Great family business and great crew. So, boys, I want to take you overseas now. I had a little bit of a trip to Canada only a few weeks ago. I feel like, last week it was the first weekend off in 4 weeks, I think. So, and I was looking to go on a charter, and we went and did some salmon fishing, and it was real old school. You use these like old school big, like fly reel type things. They call them knuckle busters because when the fish runs, you break your knuckles as the reel. But I thought, what charter do I pick? So I emailed a tackle shop. I Googled tackle shop in Victoria, British Columbia, which is a province in Canada, and it came up with a mob called Peets, P-E-E-T-Z, and I got this bloke Mark who wrote back to me and had no idea who Mark was. Anyway, booked a charter, got some beautiful salmon. I think I got a photo of a couple of the salmon that, I actually didn't catch these two. Someone else did, but you know what it's like when you're on a trip, you hold up someone else's fish if yours are too, and we're not going to show it, I don't know. But anyway, there they are. So, no, I didn't catch, I caught small ones, right? But other blokes caught big ones, so I held up the 2 big ones because it looked good in the photo.
Fish up. Do you, Adam?
Oh, I did, right?
That's
anyway,
fine.
So I went back and I said to Mark, who's this dude on the other end of email from Australia to Canada, and I said, mate, I'm going to come to your tackle shop and have a look, So I got there, I was amazed because Pete's, well, it is a tackle shop, but it was a very small, like, the size of this studio, I guess. But what was out the back was amazing. So this is a Pete's reel, and it was, it's made of mahogany and brass. It's handmade, it's hand carved. It's a piece of art. And this is what they catch all their salmon species on. So we're out in the saltwater, down rigging in 40 metres of water, 100, 120 foot. They're a beautiful reel. Mark says to me that if, a fish runs and you've got that, obviously the clicker going off, people will hear the sound and go, that's a Pete's reel.
Oh, okay.
It's just a Canadian icon since 1925. Now, I've got some photos here. So you go at the back of the tackle shop.
Yep.
Mark took me for a beautiful tip. I mean, he hand picks the mahogany. There it is, sheets of mahogany that he hand picks to make the reels out of.
Yeah.
Mate, you just can't, you wouldn't see this in Australia. It is just, there's the sheets of brass. You can see one on the floor, one on the bench there that they cut up, and I think I had a photo of the cutting machine, which I think is from 1925.
Yeah,
so
right.
you can see the floorboards there. The floorboards are 1925. This was an amazing place. And the guy who makes these, there's a few people that go into it, but the guy, the main guy at Pete's, been there for 50 years.
Yeah.
Amazing, to see this place. So they do the reels, which is just a bit of art, and I thank Mark for that because he looked after me. But the other thing they do is, so they hook these reels onto a 9-foot rod, big graphites, 30 pound, 40 pound leader.
Yep.
And they have the big flashes. So Mark was good enough to give me a few flashes. So you tow a big flasher.
And that's a real flasher.
That's a real flasher, right? And again, handmade by people, well, made on a 1932 press, And then they tow spoons. And, there's the spoons, and just amazing. So, and I think I've got a couple of photos of the presses. Now, that press, I think, was made in 1932. That cuts the brass and trims it and all that sort of stuff. And the next slide is, you can see a spoon lure in there. There of brass. Now they're nickel plated, so that's why they've got the silver on them. But amazing place to see all this. Then, while I'm there going, well, I need to buy the reel, I need to buy the flashes, I need to buy the lures, and Mark's looking after me, and just a trooper. He put us onto one of the best charters that we could ever do. They had a book about Pete's, right? And this book's sitting on the wall, and I said, I've got to have one of those as well. This is, we've all had fishing stories where you see that bit of tackle in an antique shop, but this was real life antique, So there's a book about Pete's, and he goes to me, oh yeah, I've got 5 of them left out the back. So he goes out the back, they're all gone. Then his worker goes to him, mate, we sold them all. And they had this little soft cover copy, and I said, well, I don't want that, I want this one, And he goes, well, I haven't got any. I said, well, send me one, So anyway, I go away. I go to the conference after picking up my reel and all the lures. I go to the conference, and I was actually looking for a jacket. I said to there was I was at I should explain, the World Recreational Fishing Conference in Canada. And I say to a lady who was a local, I said, where do I buy these jackets? And she goes, go try them. And I said, I've just been down near there. I said, I've got this beautiful reel. And she shows me the reel. She goes, my dad wrote a book about that company.
Yeah, right.
So the next morning, she's gone home. Now, sorry, Sue, if I'm speaking out of school. I reckon Sue was maybe 60. Her dad was well into the 80s.
Yeah.
And anyway, Douglas Pollard presented me with a book, signed.
Amazing.
And I think we've got a photo of him. There you go. Douglas gave me a book autographed about the Pete's. And I tell you, Pete's, if you're ever over there, go and check out Pete's. I tell you, I'm way over time, so I've got to wind up that story. Sorry to bore you, boys, but that was my Canada story. Up next, product of the week, and it's all about the squid. See you soon on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking fishing.
Now, we're in the middle of 2 insane bite period species of fish at the moment. We've spoken about cod, but that's not one of them. One of them's sea lice,
Oh, yeah. How is that,
Insane
dude?
bite period at the moment in sea lice.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't bring any lures to show you how to catch them.
What's the bag limit on them?
Ankle biters.
As many as you can fit on your feet.
Yeah.
But calamari is the other thing which we're going to speak about later on in the show. But I thought I'd show you for this time of year some of the latest and greatest for the big calamari. We've done calamari segments before and that's all good, but we're just focusing on the big ones. Now, the first way to go is to up the size of your jig. So these are the little Adories. We've had them on the show before, and I must say these little squid jigs have really, really cemented themselves in the market as one of the go-to, especially for these big squid. Now, this colour here, I'm just going to put this one down. We can't zoom in because we're down a couple of people in the studio, but that
Don't have a cameraman.
which is a black, that's a fair show back. Come
We're on a budget.
This little black squid jig has absolutely taken Melbourne squidding by storm.
Has it got a silver foil?
It's got a silver foil and
Yeah.
a black over with a couple of little white fin arrangements on the back. I don't know what it is about this jig, Charlie.
Black's been the colour.
It has.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. And since these big spawners have started to come through the heads, both Western Port and Port Phillip,
Yeah.
that black jig is getting it done. So Adori, write that down, Adori. That colour is
Yeah.
just getting it done. So it's 3.5, don't go anything smaller. We're talking about big squid, we're talking about tide and current.
3.5.
You are going to need the weight to get down. So
Cuttlefish?
No.
yeah, well,
No,
not
they've
yet.
No, they've shut down.
Not yet.
Oh, winter, yeah.
so
Word
let's-
is they've shut down.
Ah.
Yeah.
Hotspots, though, we're going to talk about where to go.
Yeah, so there we go. So just calm down,
Sorry.
mate. Calm
That's
down.
what I do. That's what I do.
Another squid jig I want to show you is this little one called a half nude. Don't get excited.
No, no.
Yeah, don't drop your pants.
Basi-
Not like our last end of season party.
These are done by River to Sea as part of their bait chaser. I think they've changed the name or something like that. Kraken half nude it is. Cloth on the back, solid, smooth belly,
Is that why they call them
half nude. And they've got a little liquid in them. It's hard to see on camera, but there's a little liquid floating around in there
You can see it.
to give it ultra realistic presentation, but to also aid as like a moving cast weight. So that's a cracker. 3.5 only. Don't worry about the threes. They're for your small squid. We're talking about big ones. This right here.
I like this.
This right
This
here.
is
Now,
old school big squid.
This looks complicated.
I have been lucky enough to work in the tackle industry for nearly 11 years.
Yep.
Yeah. And you've just seen how technology has changed.
Yeah, that's right. The biggest squid I've still ever seen in those 11 years has come on one of these with a silver whiting plugged on the end. Please don't forget about this, because this is how the big squid are caught. Whether it's a garfish, a yakka, a silver whiting, a pilchard, whatever you can get your hands on that'll go over that squid prong, big squid can't resist. So just have that line
Just
at the back.
run
while
through
you're
that
throwing
rig.
it.
What's on that line?
So that's monofilament.
Yeah.
Now this is a hand line, so we've gone really old school here.
Yeah.
Real basic.
Monofilament, because trying to hand line in braid is an absolute nightmare and you'll lose a finger. A little float stopper, that's to stop this from running all the way up to my hand line there.
Yeah. So what, about a metre?
Oh, you can, well, that float stopper gives you the
little
ability
bit of-
to
yeah.
adjust it on the fly.
Yep.
We've got a weighted caster float. This is a weighted caster float, but another one really well, the Instinct Glitter Bugs. They got a huge big prism on it, which is just insane. You've got a number 3 or 4 ball sinker. That is going to depend on your current, how big that goes. It's literally just to get the bait down, because the current will pick up that bait and all of a sudden you'll have float and you'll see your bait sitting just behind it. So ball sinker down to a snap swivel. That snap swivel is absolutely crucial, because if you don't use it, you're literally going to have to cut that off every time you want to put a new bait on it.
Yeah.
Down to your gilly squid prong, ultra sharp, bait goes over head first. That right there is the recipe for big, big squid. Now just have that floating around out there while you're throwing your jigs around, and I bet you, I'll put money on it, your bigger ones come on that. So there's that.
There you go.
For the land-based specialist,
Technology at its greatest.
for the land-based specialist, we've got a telescopic squid gaff. I'm just going to be careful where I swing this, because it comes flying out at 100 miles an hour.
Can you do that at the camera?
And it's got, you can see, it's got, there we
Yeah,
go,
just like flick it.
a heap of little hooks there. Unfortunately, or fortunately,
value.
the big squid come off the piers that you can't get down to the water.
Yeah,
whether it's
yeah.
Flinders,
Flinders Pier's a classic where you could be 4 metres down or 5 metres down to the fish.
that's right. Portsea, if you're fishing on the
Yep.
bay side, not the inside, these come in real handy, because there is not a rod on the market that is going to allow you to deadlift 2.5 to 3.5 kilos worth of calamari
Yeah.
without busting the rod. Now, I'd hate to say
Squid
it,
gaff.
we're pretty good with our warranties, but if you try and deadlift a big squid, sometimes we can't help you. So invest in a squid gaff. They're very simple, they're telescopic, they're easy to use, and it helps you land those big squid because you don't want to be prematurely releasing those big ones. So that's the squid gaff. And the other one I want to show you is just a little bit special.
Do this one?
Yep.
I like
Alright.
Charlie, you hold
There
on
we
to
go.
that.
This
Just
is
swing
the,
it over there.
Oh,
This
we're on this one
is
here, aren't we?
part of Shimano's Japanese domestic market rods. So this squid rod is direct out of the Japanese market, uses all the current technologies. We've spoken about squid rods before, and one thing I have noticed in this new
It
school...
even comes with an out of focus tip.
That's right. Well, I have noticed in the new
It
school
is
they're
hard.
going
It is hard.
away from the low rider guides.
Yeah.
Because they're using small K guides, and all that means is every single chance that you have to tangle around a guide has been completely eliminated.
Yeah.
That is ultra light, 8 foot. Now, 8 foot is necessary in this case, even for the boat guys, because you're dealing with 3.5 and size 4 jigs. Anything shorter starts to get a little bit weird with the weight, because it's still all about distance and covering lots of ground. So that's the Shimano Cephia BB squid rod. Come and check them out because they are just something else. And they're going to help you get those big jigs to where the squid are. And that's what we want to see.
That's a two-piece too, isn't it?
It is
So you
two-piece.
talk about 8 foot, but
yeah,
it
it
breaks
is
into two.
two-piece.
If you're really keen, you could also double up that rod for yellow belly fishing up like eeling and casting
There you go.
a small bait out. So you're buying one rod, getting a couple of different purposes out of
Yeah.
it. Probably not this one, this one's slightly heavier, but
There you
So
go.
it's, they are multi-purpose, so they are branded Cephia, but that is straight out of the Japanese domestic market, and get onto it because they are an absolute cracker.
And as Ad's introduced, now is the time for squid. The big ones are in both Port Phillip and Western Port. You just got to get a break in that weather and get out on those weed beds. They're not in very deep water at all
No,
either.
not at all.
Those big squid around the normal haunts. You're going to see more about that in hotspots very, very shortly. But up next, Kramer's mailbag and plenty more on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
Make mine a Mornington.
G'day, David Kramer here. I'm a massive fan of the Mazda BT50, having personally driven and owned one for more than 5 years now. And to tell you what, you can't beat them for an all-round great ute and a great tow vehicle. Get into Mornington Mazda before the end of the month and grab yourself a run-out bargain. I made mine a Mornington Mazda.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Plenty of mailbag too. It's just been coming for the last 3 months, so I've just taken
the
most
best
of the recent stuff.
Best of the off-season.
Oh no, it's all recent. Everyone writes to us. So first one is from Robert. He writes, "Hi Dave, I'm Robert Zucker, a regular customer at Tackle Crampton, and love your show. Hope it goes forever. Go Channel 31." Well, that's up to Malcolm Turnbull. We'll talk about that later. My question to you boys is, what is the main predator fish to toadies and puffies, especially in Port Phillip Bay and Western Port? Thanks, mate. Rob Z. What's the main...
Nothing. That's what it's so.
Asian fish.
I thought you could say something.
The other ones eat them, aren't they?
Oh, okay, going. We don't know. We don't. Leave it. No more.
We're only one show in.
Buzz is gone. No more, Trolley.
I love it.
Right, this one's from Troy from Kilmore. Troy writes, "Love the show. If possible, could you please put the date on your show behind you on the set? This way, when we watch reruns, we know when the news is current or when hotspots are actually hot."
Write that down, Kev.
Well, I think the answer is no. Sorry, Troy, but we don't know. We wouldn't know how to do that. Anyway, tonight's live. It's the 8th of August. Rodney Eade got the flick from the Gold Coast. Some bloke had his legs chopped off by sea lice. They're live, 100%. Not even a 7-second delay. That's why we've got to keep an eye on Trelly. But anyway, no, sorry, Troy, we can't do that. About 3 months of reruns. People have been asking us, you know, like saying, "Yeah, you said the whiting were hot last week."
The Kingies aren't still around, I guess.
No, they're not. But anyway, right, this one's from Ron. Ron writes, "Hi Kramer and the other blokes. I see that the show will shortly be back, and I was wondering if you or one of your fellow highly knowledgeable panellists, well, they're not here tonight, Travis and Olma, could help me on clarifying the laws in regards to catching and using live bait. This is an interesting question.
It is.
As I intend to chase kingfish this year, I'd like to be clear on the laws regarding this. As I understand, any fish caught and used for bait is still classed as part of the total allowed catch for the day. I.e., if I catch 20 scad to use for live baiting, this means I can only take another 20 fish for the day in regards to species. You allowed 40. I thought you only allowed 20. I don't know. If that is correct, how could this possibly be enforced or monitored, as I have never come across anyone that counts the bait used as part of their catch? Also, does practice of live baiting the fish by passing a thread through the eye socket or the head constitute returning the fish to the water, as it will still be alive? So I'm guessing this does not come under the definition of unharmed and with the least amount of damage or injury as stated in the fishing guide. Where do we stand? It would be great if the fisheries guide would give a clear indication on this, as I'm sure that the large amount of people targeting kins in recent times are uncertain. From Ron.
Good.
It's
That's a damn
a
good
lot
question.
of information to process, Ron. My brain hurts.
Travis file.
The award-winning Travis.
Ron, we will get Travis on the show. I'm sure Travis is sitting at home watching
That's a cracker to open up first
Is
episode
your
back.
live bait included in your catch for the day and your
like
bag
it.
limit? So,
Blind live bait.
plenty more to get through, boys. These are ones, Facebook seems to be the new way of mailbag. But anyway, I've always wanted to ask, this is from Glenn, I've always wanted to ask you about your skit of pulling out a salmon from the mailbox. Why you have acted pulling a fish out of a mailbox where you drop mail off? Shouldn't it have been filmed from a collection PO box or mailbox? Understand it's just a bit of fun, but it's the wrong mailbox. I love the show and look forward to it coming back, especially enjoy the product reviews and would like to see more on fishing techniques, e.g. rigs, baits, using plastics in the bay effectively, etc. Well, we're not going to do that, Glenn, because it's a bit like the football show, the footy show with Sam Newman. Does he show you how to hold the ball for a drop kick? No, we're not going to show you how to go fishing. I'm just going to tell you about
What's
it.
his name?
The question was,
his
why
name?
do Glenn...
Glenn, don't listen to him. He's just upset that you've upset his
We
skit.
tried to film it in the PO box little cavity there, and we got arrested. So we had to go to a little box in down the road.
Do it legally.
It stinks, that post box too. Colin Mitchington, he writes, on one of your shows you had squid jigs. The one I saw was black.
Tonight.
Yeah, no, but he watched it last time. It was black with I think 2 to 3 white or silver stripes near the barb. Could you post a picture of it and tell me what brand and weight they come in, please? I would appreciate it. Thanks. Kind regards, Big Cole.
I can.
Well, Cole, hopefully you're watching Product of the Week just before, because Adam
not a
had it.
rerun.
There it is.
Over there.
It's not a rerun.
There
It's
it
the
is.
Adori.
Adori.
That's right.
Black
It
and
is
silver.
the #1 squid jig at the moment. There you go, Glenn. Geez, we're answering these well. Scott Turnbull writes, Hi guys, fantastic you're back on air and cannot wait for another series. If you want to get Trelly to do some actual work, it would be great to know what the flow on has been of last December's Blackwater event. I know it originated around Wentworth, which is in New South Wales, but I'd love to know what impact on Victoria. Thanks guys, can't wait until you start. Well, there was 2, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's right.
One was
One was
Wentworth,
down
but one was
that
in
way
Shepparton,
and one
wasn't
was
it?
in Shepparton.
Well, I think he's talking about the Wentworth one, the Murray.
Yeah.
What ended up happening there, Trelly?
Well, there's a bit of a mixed report about that, about water being pumped into the forest, and then the amount of rainwater flow pushed that out of the forest into the river system, caused the Blackwater event, as opposed to the Shepparton one. So I'll find out some more, but we'll get back to you on that one.
There you go.
Good question.
Good question.
All right. Robin writes to us, guys, is there an easy way to tie the FG knot? As I have arthritis in both my hands, and it makes it difficult. Your help would be welcome. Regards from Rob H. Ads? FG knot?
What's that stand for?
Pretty good.
Buzz.
Now, 2-part answer.
Yeah.
1, no, there isn't an easy way to tie it,
Yeah.
especially if you've got arthritis in your hands. But there is a handy little tool. Now, YouTube,
Yeah.
Trelly's Geelong.
Yes.
Young Chris there does a fantastic video of how the tool works. Watch that
What,
video.
Trelly?
No, Chris.
Down
No,
at Tom.
how Trelly works.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
You said how the
blank
tool-
screen.
You said how the tool works.
Yeah, blank screen. Watch that video, and if you've got any questions, call me at Tackle World Mornington, and I can talk you through it, because
Well, hang
that
on,
tool.
hang on.
No,
Why don't you tie it next week on the show?
There is a tool.
No, but it's not going to matter.
Oh.
They know how to tie it. They can't. The fingers are no
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
That's not me.
The other way
I
is
can't
good.
even tie my shoelaces at the moment.
This FG knot tool will help a lot, but watch the video first so you got some background info, because Chris does a fantastic job at showing you how to use the FG knot tool, and then give us a call. And I'll
Or
talk
if
through
you give Chris $5, he'll tie it for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway,
Actually, better yet,
No, this
go
is,
on and speak to Chris.
No, this is Robin from Bairnsdale, so that's all good. Should just mention, if you'd like to write into Kramer's Mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Back to the FG knot.
Poor Jack just nearly had a meltdown because he nearly forgot the close up.
Yeah, I know, but anyway, I got
what
it
you
in.
do.
But back to the FG knot. Is it something that you could tie on next week's show?
Yeah,
Is the FG knot the best knot
100% it is. I think it is.
on all thicknesses
No.
of braid?
Not all thicknesses of braid.
No.
I tend to try and avoid tying it in anything under 10 pound leader, because I think anything under that you can still tie a back-to-back uni and it's going to go through the guides okay on most rods. Anything over, I find it hard to tie anything else. But it's a complex knot, and I learnt it a long time ago in a way that no one uses to actually tie it.
Yeah.
But I can show you. I'm
Knots-
happy to show you.
Yeah, knots are that, because when you get down to like I say, adds smaller diameter lines, you need to have a larger area of contact point.
That's right.
A lot of times, and some braids aren't applicable with some monos. They actually bite in at 2 and 4 and 6 pound.
Yeah.
So you do have to apply different knots for different
Thicknesses,
applications.
yeah. There you go. Coming up next, this week's hotspots. You're going to need them because there's a run of 19-degree weather on its way from Sunday. We'll be back shortly on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsling's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
And just before we get to the hotspots, boys, do you realise that tonight is our 99th episode? 100, the big 100, the big century next week. I think. I'm not sure we'll get a letter from the Queen. But anyway, no, but 100 episodes next week. It's a pretty good milestone. Who would have thought? So anyway, we might. Someone
effort.
just said in my ear we might get one from a Queen. So, but anyway,
Richie's coming back.
we haven't. Wow. There's a bit of news we haven't told everyone.
Rainbow Warrior.
He carked it during
Had
the break.
enough.
Yeah, during the 3 months. He's dead.
Yeah.
Richie died.
Really?
Well, remember the last show, he got eaten.
He ate the worm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what he come back as?
Sea lice.
He just
Sea
come
lice.
fish droppings.
Fish droppings.
He come back as fish droppings. He's just a bit of
Oh,
burley in the
golly.
ocean now.
Golly.
Bit like
Game of pole.
ashes.
Golly.
It's just game of
So
pole.
should we run a benefit for his family, or?
No.
Move on.
Yeah, we'll just get on. All right, hotspots. We're getting yelled at in the ear. Number one, it's all about the squid. If you want to go and catch yourself a big squid, Blair Gowrie at the moment. Now, there's lots of weed beds just on the other side of the deep channel as you go out off from Blair Gowrie, off the marina, even if you head down from Sorrento, on the, I guess, the middle of the bay side. There's a lot of good weed beds there. There's also some in close near the sisters holding lots of big squid. You just need that opportunity to get out there.
Yep.
Easy to get to, brilliant if there's a little bit of south in the wind. Blair Gowrie is just a champion place to fish.
Yep, nice long cast too, so that long squid rod will come in handy because 99% of the year it's crystal clear, so they will be a bit spooky. They're in shallow water. So
this time of year is very
long
clean.
casts.
Cold water and that.
Yep.
Another one over your side of the bay, Trelly, is Queenscliff. In that bite there's always some big ones around this time of year.
Yeah, we keep getting the odd report in, just just in the last
That's
week.
because no one's getting out because of the weather.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
But we are expecting like you say, they're going to come on very soon.
The good thing about Queenscliff is there's a bit of north in the wind.
Yeah.
You're pretty well protected, and if you can just get right on that point of the Queenscliff Bight. Now, the only thing is, you've got to remember, the law now states you've got to wear a life jacket. As soon as you go around that point, you've got to wear a life jacket when you're in the boat. So make sure you've got your safety gear.
Anyway.
But there is some very big squid in there. A little bit of north, that's the best place to fish. So let's head over to Western Port, and the old capital of calamari is the Tyab Bank, one of the best places you can fish. Easy to get to from Warneet.
I caught up with Pete Ferguson for the first time in a long time during the week, and he showed me a photo of, there was a good 10 or 12 there, and they were the 10 or 12 of the average ones, and they were, we're looking 40 centimetre hoods here. Like, there's some big squid up on the Tyab at the moment. Those jigs we were talking about, 3.5s, size 4s, reds, blacks, they're the go-to. So I'd be getting up and having a poke.
Another good place for land-based anglers, if you want a big calamari. Probably the capital for land-based fishing is the Flinders Pier. There's some big models right down that bottom end of Western Port, and Flinders Pier. There's no better time than high tide. If you can get down there when the water's a little bit deeper, cast over the weed beds, some cracker squid down there as well.
I reckon you'll see a few of those floats around there too. That's it's money in the bank at Flinders.
Yeah. Let's head inland now. A couple of good freshwater fisheries. I know people say it is not trout season, but it is in the lakes because the lakes are absolutely on fire. And Lake Bolac out in the Western Districts, head through Geelong, probably about equal with, I don't know, a bit further than Polo Bay, I guess, in distance, but inland, obviously. Lake Bolac, a little lake that is renowned when it's on fire for big rainbow trout at the moment. So get down to Lake Bolac, it's a cracker. And Lake Eildon, of course, plenty of trout being
Lock it in
caught.
for everything.
Yeah, it's that, the coldness certainly brings the trout to the top, and just flatlining with Tassie Devils, and Trelly, of course, cod.
Yeah, that's right. It's been an amazing place over the last sort of couple of years now, building with numbers with large cod.
It's nowhere near its potential either, is it?
No.
It isn't. It isn't.
No.
It's just going to get better and better.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So there you go. There's the hot spots. Now, Trelly, let's talk a bit more about cod. Hasn't surface and swim baits just taken everyone by storm? I mean, we walked around the Australian Fishing Trade Show last week on the Gold Coast, and every second stand had something new in cod baits.
Exactly, yeah. And these lures are big. Like they're 180 mil to 280 mil. So we're talking some.
That's nearly
serious,
a foot long.
Yeah, we're talking some serious hardware we're actually throwing out and trying to retrieve. So a lot of the guys are moving to what you'd call in a fly rod down here is probably like a 15 weight fly rod.
Yeah.
They're throwing out these huge lures, and they're getting some distance, and they're covering some ground, and they're actually working them back. Now there's a couple of which is a surface lure, and the other one's the wake bait, which just sits underneath the surface and causes a wake. But it's just been phenomenal. The fish that they're catching on that style of fishing has just been phenomenal. Lake Mole Whale has been going great, and even some parts of the Murray have been fishing really, really well with these.
Well, the next few weeks, as all the stock rolls through from AFTA, we'll do a segment for Project of the Week on swim baits and show you the rods and the reels and the lures, because it's such a fascinating
A lot of
part
people
to
are
the
wanting
industry.
to get to like that almost 7 foot length of
Yeah.
rod in a bait caster though.
Exactly.
And there were some beauties that are coming up on the market. I know the Shimano Jewel range,
Jewel,
which
yep.
we haven't seen Jewel in the market
Zodius, there's one as
for a
well.
few years, but there's some cracker rods coming that are good length, heavy rods designed for bigger bait casters.
Yeah, that's right. Bigger bait casters are bigger lures. And one of our biggest problems as far as retailers is getting supply of some of these bigger lures, because a lot of these guys that make these lures are sort of often second job type guys. So we struggle to get some of these bigger lures. So get in there and get what you can quick, because it's soaking, the market's soaking some of these lures up.
While everyone's talking about those surface lures and that, but the old school bib lures still work just as good this time of year, don't they?
They do, yeah. Well, you'd probably call them a cod lolly.
Yeah.
Around about that 90 mil mark, just under the 100 mil mark, and
The old mate.
The old mate, and the codgers and the stump jumpers and things like that are still great lures just to try up and down the river. They still produce fish. They're great. Yeah.
Just talking of stump jumpers coming up, we saw a little snippet of it at AFTA, that the stump jumper is going to come out in, correct me if I'm wrong, around about 10 custom colours.
Yep.
Is that right? 10?
Correct. Yep.
And one a month. is going to be released. So these
Yeah.
are going to be very, very limited edition. We might do a bit of a story on those
Yeah,
once
I
they
think
start to
it's
flow.
worth doing.
But you know, there's going to be, I think, 1,000 lures all up. I think because there's 100 set. They're all numbered.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Or something like
Yeah,
whatever it
it's-
is.
Yeah.
But very limited numbers of that you know, a special colour and then a new colour introduced every month for I think the next 10 months or something. So that's an exciting little collection. If anyone wants to collect that, they
Some
can.
really nice stuff coming out there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
What else for cod? Spinnerbaits? Anything innovative?
Yeah, look, spinnerbait's always good this time of year.
Yeah.
Again, we're approaching the closing of the season. So, but look, the standout has been the Mull Whale, the top of Mull Whale. We had some local guys up there been fishing every week, braving the conditions and catching some cracker fish up to 117 centimetres, 127 centimetres.
Big fish.
Yeah, Warren Gaillard's been up there, and he don't think he does anything else but fish.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're giving reports back. One spot to look out for is probably Nellacooti, which is again, but Eildon, like I say, closing of the season, Eildon will continue on.
There you go.
Yeah, really good.
Don't forget our 100th show next week because this is episode 99. It's a big week next week. That's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, we look at some of the new products, like we said, that we saw at the recent Australian Fishing Trade Show. And we preview the Melbourne 4x4 and Fishing Show. It starts on Friday, 18th of August. Until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.